On the morning of December 13th, 1887, Harold Hawthorne, one of Pittsburgh's most powerful industrialists, awoke to silence in his palatial Mount Washington estate. A dense fog had rolled over the city, casting a gray stillness over everything. But inside the mansion, something far more chilling was taking hold. Descending the grand staircase, Harold paused. At the bottom, on the Persian rug of the main foyer, lay his wife's emerald silk gown, still warm, her slippers perfectly placed beside it. The heavy oak front doors were bolted from the inside, all windows shut, no broken glass, no muddy footprints, and Lillian Hawthorne was nowhere to be found. She had been seen just hours earlier by 3 members of the household staff, retiring to her bedroom in the same gown. Now, without a trace, she was gone. Harold summoned the entire staff, and the search began. Every room, every corridor, every inch of the estate combed and scrutinized. The grounds were scoured in the snow. By noon, it was clear Lillian had vanished without a sound. A wife gone in the night, and a mystery that would cast a shadow over the city for years to come. Lillian Whitmore Hawthorne had once been the pride of Boston society. Born into wealth, educated in the finest finishing schools, fluent in French and Latin, she was as sharp as she was graceful. When she married Harold Hawthorne in 1882, the union was seen as a merging of old money with new power. To the public, the couple were a dream, Pittsburgh's golden pair. But those within the mansion whispered of distance, of icy silences and separate wings. Servants spoke of arguments behind closed doors, of Lillian's strange new habits, long walks alone, meetings with strangers in the garden, and hours spent writing in her private journal. She had recently become interested in the city's labor conditions, something Harold dismissed as a hobby. But Lillian wasn't merely curious. She had begun attending workers' funerals, donating anonymously to mill families, and collecting names of men injured or killed on the job. The next morning, Detective Silas Mercer of the Pittsburgh Metropolitan Constabulary arrived. An astute, methodical man, Mercer had solved a string of high-profile disappearances. This one, though, felt different. The emerald gown, still faintly warm the day before, was undisturbed and bore no blood, no tears. A fine silver hair comb was discovered beneath it, one tooth bent. Strange burn marks dotted the edge of the gown's hem. Upstairs, Lillian's journal was missing from her locked writing desk. Only the brass key she always wore around her neck remained, resting on her pillow. A tray of untouched tea sat on her vanity. The cup's contents were tested. Laudanum. Mercer began to suspect the disappearance wasn't an abduction, but something more complex. Voluntary escape? A cover-up? Or a staged vanishing? Lillian's favorite room was the second-floor library, a 2-story vault of rare books, hidden staircases, and a stained glass dome. Mercer combed through the shelves, and behind a loose volume of Horace's Odes, he found a rolled sheet of parchment. On it was a diagram, labeled in Lillian's hand, of the mansion's layout. But one room was circled in red, cellar sublevel, sealed access. The mansion's architect had noted no such space. Harold, questioned on it, insisted the plans were outdated. But Mercer pushed further, and with the help of the groundskeeper, found a sealed door hidden behind wine barrels in the main cellar. The door was bolted shut, dust untouched. Yet a single fingerprint marked the bolt. Small, feminine, recent Margaret O'Donnell, the head housekeeper, had served the family for over 15 years. Though reluctant to speak, Mercer's quiet persistence coaxed details from her. Lillian had confided in her weeks earlier, asking odd questions about hidden rooms and tunnels. She had even inquired about the original blueprints. One night, Margaret claimed she saw Lillian arguing in hushed tones with a man in the garden, a man who was not Harold. The butler, Jonathan Finch, added more. On the night of her disappearance, he had seen Mr. Hawthorne take a call in the study. "Tell them it's tonight," Finch overheard. Finch said Harold, then poured himself a drink and stared into the fire for over an hour. Mercer obtained a warrant and unsealed the mysterious door. Inside was a forgotten subcellar, walls lined with soot, chains bolted to the floor. Old bloodstains. In one corner, a broken phonograph. And beneath a tarp, what looked like a pile of tattered cloth. But it wasn't cloth. It was a burned shawl, Lillian's, still bearing the initials LWH stitched in gold. A scorched journal lay beside it, half its pages turned to ash. The remaining words were scrawled in haste. "They're watching me. If I disappear, it wasn't me who left." He lied. He always lied. Mercer's blood ran cold. Digging into Harold's past unearthed a web of corruption, illegal labor practices, bribes to city officials, and a string of accidents that eliminated competitors. But most damning of all, his association with a covert syndicate known as the Iron Order, an underground society of industrialists who silenced dissent by any means necessary. Lillian had discovered their existence. Her journal confirmed it. Her father's death, once ruled natural, had connections to the same group. She had vowed to expose them, and Harold, realizing she knew too much, may have acted first. Despite the mounting evidence, Harold was never charged. Powerful friends and lack of a body shielded him. The case was quietly closed. But Mercer kept the files. In 1891, a new lead emerged. A woman matching Lillian's description had been seen in Nova Scotia, working as a schoolteacher. The report was unconfirmed, but Mercer believed she survived. Escaped before Harold could strike. Faked her disappearance. And the mansion? It was sold, later demolished. But on winter nights, some say they still see a woman in an emerald gown wandering the fog above Mount Washington, searching, always searching for justice.